Hello everybody, I'm Vale Anoa'i. I know it's been a really long time. It's been about 5 months since my last art video. Don't mind Sami the dog, she's being really obnoxious today. But I wanted to update you and show you some of my more recent art. I've recently gotten some new materials and I'm really excited about that. But rather than yap about it, let's just go right into it. This is my most recent book of paintings. So we have this awesome spiral, the colors of the upper three chakras. You got your heart, your throat. Did I say upper three? Heart, throat, third eye, crown, the upper four. So those colors are all swirled together. Now all of these are watercolor. This one I call Rose. You can see a bit of her skull through her skin. It didn't intend to start out that way, but the way it was going, I'm just like, all right, inspiration, take the wheel. Because clearly, you know better than I do. I love the way it turned out. You can see some of the background detailing going on, and it's just a neat piece that I'm really fond of. Kind of reminds me of those old-time photos, but with a twist. This one is called Sun and Moon. So she's made of sunlight and fire energy, and she's drawn to the moon, and just the colors, the way the colors all play off each other in this piece is incredible. I really, really like this one. I loved playing with opposing colors for a good while. This one is called Closure, and it was inspired by some long time hurt feelings that I had from a misunderstanding, a friendship that just vanished unexpectedly from my life. And only very recently did I finally get the closure that I didn't even realize I was still looking for all these years. So she's looking out at the future, watching the sunset and realizing this is the last time the sun is going to set on me wondering what went wrong in this situation. And of course, she's got a sunflower because my sunflower obsession is still very much alive. This one that I ripped out here because it was sold, yay. This one, I tried one of those string, when you cover a paint, wow, Volley. I'm going to try speaking English right now. When you cover a string with paint and then pulling it up through the page, and if you can see this man's face wearing a hat, it was so eerie that I'm like, all right, I got to save this and just paint around him, but he's staying. This one's not even available on my website. This is a one-of-a-kind piece that I've never shown anybody before, so that's pretty special. It's really interesting. This man's face, clear as anything, just showed up. This one's called Spirit Animal. Initially, I couldn't tell at first if it was a horse, if it was a dog. Regardless, it's an animal and it's a spirit. It's all smoky, really cool, just smoked out effect. We don't quite know what it is, but it is a spirit animal of some kind. This one is another one that's not available on my website. It is one of a kind. I bought metallic Sharpies, and I just started using all of the metallic colors to do this rose that just grew a little out of control. And I liked the way it looked, but I don't know why I never put this one on my website. So it's a special one of a kind. It's not available online. No prints. Once it's gone, it's gone. This one I really love. It's an eclipse, but with this amazing twisting tree. I'm a very big fan of trees, as you no doubt know by watching my other videos. Many of my paintings feature trees, but the idea of a black sun glowing with actual light, I don't know where that came from, but I love the way it turned out. It's a great favorite of mine, as is the next one. Oh wait, not the next one. The next one was torn out because I sold it. It was a very cool lighthouse-inspired piece. This is a pineapple duck, another one that is not available on my website. It is one of a kind. It's literally a pineapple and a duck in one. Super cute. This is where my art style has officially changed. I bought myself a set of watercolor pens. Now, if you've never used watercolor pens, oh my gosh, these things are so cool. It looks like just regular pen when you start off, and then you add water, and it literally becomes a watercolor. And it's so cool. This was the first one I ever did. It's called Heartbreak. And I fell head over heels in love with what happened when I started using them. So much so that every single thing I have painted since is done with watercolor pens. This one is so washed out looking, but it's so ghostly and mysterious. And she's crying. It's called The Last Tear. And the last tear has become a butterfly that's going to fly away with all her remaining sorrow. I went crazy. I mean, look at the colors. I know it's hard to tell, but the way it all blends together in the background, just naturally from just the effects of the water on the watercolor pens, it's incredible. Cruella, obviously, we all know who this one's inspired by, but I saw the movie and I adored it. I absolutely loved it, so of course I had to paint her when I got home. This is very much inspired by Cruella de Vil from the newest of the movies, which I love. This one is called Time Storm. It looks like a crazy storm, and there's the eye of the storm, but what's in the center of the eye? A clock and a spiral. I've been watching Manifest on Netflix lately, and just the idea of a storm and time, if you haven't watched that show yet, please watch it. It's a total head trip, and I'm obsessed. This is another tree-inspired piece with a wild, funky, patchy-looking sunset in the background with all these really cool colors, just more experimenting with the watercolor pens, and I swear, it's going to be really hard for me to go back to any other medium but these watercolor pens, because they look so cool. This is another one I did recently of a blue, purple, green toned face. Love what you can do with eyes with these watercolor pens. The less water you use, the more of a sharp, defined pen stroke you see. And I was really starting to experiment more with them, as you'll see from the next one. This one, I used a bit more water, except in the eyes. In the eyes, it's very sharply defined, but the more water, the more crazy blend effects you get. It's just so much fun. It's so much fun. They literally create themselves. This one is another one that I did with the watercolor pens. I was just sitting here at the kitchen table, having a conversation with a friend, and I started doodling, and I decided to only use the water on the hair and the background and leave the eyes, just the eyes and the eyebrows, untouched by the water. All the other features have very light water, but the rest of her is all fuzzed out from the watercolor pens. And I swear, I mean, look, right here, you could see the way the purple and the blue blend together in the background. It's glorious. There's still more. This is another recent tree and sunset piece I did. And there's two people embracing underneath the tree. But look at the way these greens just blend. Oh, these watercolor pens are a literal dream. It has a very kind of smoked out, dreamlike effect out here, but with the strong definition because I added a lot more of the pen strokes after the initial watercolor wash. Now, this is my most recent. This is the one I did yesterday. Obviously, it's a peacock. I was just recently in St. Augustine hanging out with a whole swarm of peacocks. They were eating out of my hands. They're super friendly, super chill birds. I love them. And that is where I am currently. So I have another virtual art show coming up in July. I will have all the information on my social media about that. So definitely tune in on Facebook Live. It's going to be really cool. I'll have a whole bunch of paintings available for purchase. You can watch from anywhere where you have phone signal, and you can purchase from anywhere where you have phone signal. So come check out my next art show. And I started making headpieces as well, these really elaborate, fancy, cool headpieces. Just another artistic, creative outlet because I don't seem to have enough of those lately. Now that I'm done with college, I graduated with my bachelor's degree. I'm done with work until August. It's like I have all this free time and I have creative outlets and things to be focusing on, which is wonderful. But I'm going to stop yammering for now. I'll see you on social media, friends and neighbors, and I will see you in my next video. Hopefully it won't be 5 months between now and my next one. Have a fantastic weekend.